we will learn about the applications of control systems. Control systems are used in industry to regulate temperature, pressure, force, feed rate, flow rate, chemical composition, weight, position, speed, and practically every other variable for which measurement exists, and are found in abundance in all sectors. Just to mention a few, in robotics for robot arm manipulation, in process industries to control the temperature of water in a cooling jacket of a continuous stirred tank reactor, in automobiles for steering control and speed control, and in solar collectors for sun tracking control, and so on. The control systems are classified as open loop control system and closed loop control system. As shown in this figure, in open loop control system, the output is not fed back to the input. So, the control action is independent of the desired output. Consider an example of a room heater. In open loop system, in order to maintain certain desired temperature in the room heater may get switched on and off in a predetermined interval. Thus, this is open loop system. However, the outside temperature here is a noise factor. Since the outside temperature is different in morning or evening and in afternoon, this system is ineffective to maintain pleasant temperature throughout the day. Thus, in open loop system, the control action is independent of the desired output. Hence, to overcome this drawback of open loop system, we use closed loop system. As shown in figure, in closed loop system, we will set the controller at some desired value of this particular temperature, and the information of the actual room temperature at any point of contact will be fed to the controller by a temperature sensor. The controller will then determine the error, that is, the difference between actual temperature and the desired temperature. The heating element functions to reduce the error, and when the error becomes lower than a predetermined level, the heating element stops functioning. In time domain, that is when function is expressed in terms of time, the ratio of the system output to the system input is called as gain and is expressed as yt upon xt, where yt is the system output and xt is system input. However, for many systems, the relationship between the output and input is in the form of differential equation, and hence the statement of a function as just a simple number like a gain of 10 is not possible. We cannot divide the output by input, as the relationship is a differential equation and not a simple algebraic equation. Hence, we need to transform these differential equations into algebraic equations by using a term known as Laplace transform. Thus, using Laplace transform, we convert the function in time domain into the function in S domain. This figure shows the representation of the above mentioned system in S domain. In this figure, CS is the controller transfer function, PS is a process transfer function, and HS is a feedback transfer function. So what is transfer function? Transfer function is a ratio of Laplace transform of the output to the Laplace transform of the input. The common Laplace transforms are shown in this particular table. For example, for time function of unit step, the Laplace transform is 1 by s. For time function unit ramp t, the Laplace transform is 1 upon s square, and so on. The product of controller transfer function and the process transfer function is known as forward transfer function. The block diagram thus can be simplified by replacing CS and PS in terms of GS. Now, considering the forward transfer function GS and feedback transfer function HS, the transfer function of the system is given by GS upon 1 plus GS into HS. Thus, this block diagram can be further simplified as shown in this particular figure, where we consider the transfer function of the system, which is GS upon 1 plus GS into HS, which considered all the three transfer functions, that is controller transfer function, process transfer function, and the feedback transfer function. Thus, to obtain the process output in time domain is basically a 6-step process. The first step is to evaluate the transfer function of a controller, CS. Then evaluate the transfer function of the process, PS. Evaluate the forward transfer function, which is the product of CS and PS, known as GS. Get the transfer function of the feedback, that is HS. For a given system input XS, the system response in subdomain YS then can be obtained by using the equation GS upon 1 plus GS into HS into XS. And finally, we can obtain the system output in time domain by converting back the Laplace function Ys into time domain. Now to demonstrate this, consider a process in which the liquid flows into the tank at a flow rate of x1 and flows out of tank at a flow rate x2 as shown in this particular figure. Let A be the area of the tank and H is the liquid level. Thus for this particular process, we have to control the flow rate to maintain a desired level in the tank. Thus the process input is x1 and process output is H. The value x2 is free to take any value. It is obvious that the flow rate into tank minus the flow rate out of the tank, that is x1 minus x2, is equal to the rate of change of liquid volume in the tank as shown by this particular equation. So thus x1 minus x2 is equal to A, which is area of the tank, into dH upon dt, where H is the level of the fluid in the tank and T is the time. We know that the flow rate through orifice can be expressed as Q is equal to delta P upon R, where delta P is a pressure drop across an orifice and R is the resistance offered by it. For the outflow, Q is equal to X2, and according to Bernoulli's theorem, at constant velocity, delta P is equal to H. Thus, this particular equation can therefore written as X2 is equal to H upon R, where Q is X2 and delta P is H. Now substituting this value of X2 in this particular equation, we get the equation X1 minus H upon R is equal to A into dH by dt. Multiplying by R to all terms, we get the equation R into X1 minus H is equal to AR dH dt. This is basically a first order linear differential equation. Now our goal is to obtain the system output for the three different control actions, that is proportional, integral and derivative. We will first evaluate the transfer function of a controller. So let us discuss one by one. We will first consider the proportional control. In proportional control, the controller output is proportional to the input signal. So thus if I consider the proportional of the controller output of the proportional controller, that is XP, and the input signal as E, then here XP is proportional to E and K is a constant of proportionality. Thus we can write a transfer function as XPS, that is the Laplace transform of the output upon Laplace transform of the input, and that is equal to K. It means in case of proportional control, the transfer function is again K. In case of integral control, the output of a controller is proportional to the time integral of actuating signal E. Thus, XP is equal to K integration of E into dt. In S form, this can be written as XPS is equal to K into ES upon S. And therefore, we can write the transfer function as XPS upon ES is equal to K upon S. It means in case of the integral control, the transfer function is K upon S. In derivative control, the value of output is proportional to the rate of change of input signal. Thus xp is equal to k into dE upon dt. This can be written in S form as xps is equal to k into s into es, and therefore the transfer function can be written as xps upon es is equal to k into s. Thus in case of derivative control, the transfer function is ks. So in proportional control, transfer function is k. In case of integral control, the transfer function is k upon s, and in case of derivative control, the transfer function is k into s. Thus our flow process consider the system input as a step response of 4, the proportional gain k is equal to 2, and the transfer function of the feedback is 0.1. Then by using proportional control action, the transfer function is equal to k and is equal to 2 in this particular case. Similarly, by using integral control action, the transfer function is k upon s, that is 2 upon s in this case. And by using derivative control action, the transfer function is ks, which is equal to 2s. Now this is about controller transfer function. Now let us discuss about the transfer function of the process. Recall this equation which we have derived to model the flow process, and this can be written now as a into r dh upon dt plus h is equal to rx1. Writing this equation in S form, a into r shs plus hs is equal to rx1s, which can be then rearranged to get the transfer function of the process as r upon a into rs plus 1. Now here this water level hs is a process output and the flow rate into the tank x1s is a process input. Now to study the system output for a given flow process using different control actions, assume the constant values like area of the tank as 0.2 unit and the resistance offered by the orifice is 2.5 units. Now if I substitute this value of a and r in this particular equation of a transfer function, we can get the transfer function of the process as substituting r is equal to 2.5, a is equal to 0.2. We can obtain this transfer function of the process as 5 upon s plus 2. So thus we obtain the transfer function of a controller and the transfer function of a process for our flow process problem. Now we will first obtain the system output using proportional control. So first we apply the step 1, that is to evaluate the transfer function of a controller, and in this particular case it is 2 since it is a proportional control. Then the transfer function of the process is 5 upon s plus 2. The forward transfer function is a product of cs and ps, so it is 10 upon s plus 2. Then the transfer function of the feedback is 0.1, and for us input step response of 4, the Laplace form is 4 upon s. So now we can obtain the system transfer function as gs upon 1 plus gs into hs into xs. So here we substitute gs as 10 upon s plus 2, hs as 0.1 and xs as 4 upon s. So by substituting these particular terms in the equation of the transfer function, we can obtain the transfer function as 40 upon s into s plus 3. I can write this expression as 13.33 upon s minus 13.33 upon s plus 3. By taking 13.33 common, we can write it as 13.33 into 1 upon s minus 1 upon s plus 3. Now as shown in this particular table, for a Laplace transform 1 upon s, the time function is unit step 1. So for the first term, the time function is 1 and second term is 1 upon s plus 3. So if we consider in this table for 1 upon s plus a, the time function is e raised to minus at. In this case, a is equal to 3. So thus for the first term, the time function is 1, and for second term the time function is e raised to minus 3t. So thus we can convert this particular transfer function in the S form into the time domain as yt is equal to 13.33 into 1 minus e raised to minus 3t. Now we will obtain the system output using integral control action. Applying above mentioned steps 1 to 6 for the integral action, we get Cs is equal to k upon s for integral control, and thus here it is 2 upon s. Then the transfer function of the process is 5 upon s plus 2. Then the forward transfer function is the product of these two, thus here it is 10 upon s square plus 2s. Then the transfer function of the feedback is 0.1. Similarly, the Laplace transform of the process input is 4 upon s. Then again we can substitute the value of gs as 10 upon s square plus 2s, hs as 0.1, and xs as 4 upon s in the formula for the transfer function of the system. We can get the transfer function of the system as 40 upon s plus s into s plus 1 square, which can be written as 40 upon s minus 40 upon s plus 1 square minus 40 upon s plus 1. Now, as shown in this particular table, for 1 upon s, the time function is unit step 1. For 1 upon s plus 1 square, the time function is t into e raised to minus 80. Here a is equal to 1. So thus here the time function for the second term is t into e raised to minus t. And the time function for the third term, we can use 1 upon s plus a, for which the time function is e raised to minus 80. Here a is equal to 1. So for the third term, the time function is e raised to minus t. So thus we can now convert the particular transfer function, which is in the s form, into the time domain as 4t minus 4t into t into e raised to minus t minus 4t into e raised to minus t. So this is how we obtain the system output using integral control. Similarly, we can now obtain the system output using derivative control. Now here the controller output or the controller transfer function is ks, which is equal to 2s. Then the process transfer function is 5 upon s plus 2. The forward transfer function is the product 10s upon s plus 2. Then the transfer function of the feedback is 0.1, and the input is 4 upon s. So thus we can substitute gs as 10s upon s plus 2, hs as 0.1, and xs as 4 upon s in the formula for the transfer function of the system. We can get the transfer function as 4 upon s into 10s upon 2s plus 1, which is 20 upon s plus 1. Now if we see this particular table, for 1 upon s plus a, the time function is e raised to minus 80. In this case, a is equal to 1. So thus the time function here, the for 1 upon s plus 1, it is e raised to minus 80, so that is e raised to minus t. So thus we can obtain the transfer function in time domain is equal to 20 into e raised to minus t. So this is how we can obtain the system output using the derivative control. Now we can summarize the results. The system output using proportional control is 13.33 into 1 minus e raised to minus 3t. The system output by using integral control is 40 into 1 minus t into e raised to minus t minus e raised to minus t, and that by using derivative control is 20 into e raised to minus t. These three responses are plotted as shown in figure. So this is the system response using the P control. This one is the system response using I control, and this one is the system response using D control. This is how we can obtain the system response using three basic controls: proportional, integral, and derivative. You can refer these books for further reading. Thank you.